Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. I hope that you're all doing well and that you are all having an incredible day. There's a lot of stuff happening right now, not only in the cryptocurrency space, but also just in the normal financial world that I think very soon is going to have a major impact on markets all around the world. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. On the 21st of June, that is not that far away, the Financial Action Task Force, or the FATF, will reportedly publish a note clarifying how participating nations should exercise oversight for the digital asset sector, according to the FATF spokeswoman Alexandra Daniel. The news was reported by Bloomberg on the 12th of June. Per Bloomberg, the new rules will apply to a wide gamut of businesses dealing with cryptocurrencies and tokens, including crypto exchanges, custodians, and crypto hedge funds. FATF is an intergovernmental organization established on the initiative of the G7 to promote the implementation of legal, regulatory, and operational measures to fight money laundering. The FATF has developed a series of recommendations recognized as the international standard for combating money laundering and the financing of illicit activities. As Bloomberg notes, these recommendations are used by around 200 countries globally, including the United States. Here's where it gets interesting. Bloomberg reports that the FATF rules are expected to require firms ranging from major spot exchanges such as Coinbase to asset managers like Fidelity Investments to gather all data on all clients initiating transactions worth over $1,000 or more than 1,000 euros. For those who did not get that, between Coinbase and Fidelity and everywhere in between, the FATF is proposing a rule that is going to come out on the 21st of June that says that they have to gather the data of every single person using their platform who has a transaction that happens over $1,000 and or 1,000 euros. The issue is that as crypto prices continue to go higher and the coins are then worth more in the future, they're trying to make it so that every single time that you move your money around, they will essentially be notified and you will have to kind of answer for what you've done with your money. They will also be asked to provide data on the recipients on the funds and share the data with the recipient's own service provider together with data on each transaction. This was claimed by Bloomberg. The forthcoming rules will notably be subject to the interpretation of different national regulators. Some industry participants have reportedly voiced concerns that blockchain technology would have to be fundamentally restructured or otherwise a complex parallel system constructed between exchanges in order to satisfy new reporting requirements. While others are concerned about the toll that increased compliance costs will exact on industry businesses. In a comment, Jeff Horowitz, who is the chief compliance officer at Coinbase, argued that applying bank regulations to this industry could drive more people to conduct person-to-person transactions, which would result in less transparency for law enforcement, end quote. This is going to be, I think, one of the biggest shocks to the cryptocurrency system, and I don't mean a negative shock at all. Things like this that we've seen before have actually fared out relatively well for the cryptocurrency system. What has happened that I mentioned in 2018 that I first caught wind of because it hit me and I said something is very weird. There was a very weird situation where the prices were going down. We had days where Bitcoin was falling by $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a day, a week, whatever, what have you. And we had tons of people within the crypto, or rather in the normal financial industry, who announced that they were getting into the cryptocurrency space. They loved Bitcoin. They thought it was cool. They thought it was amazing. They had shared that they had been buying Bitcoin since 2014, 2015. They loved the industry. They saw where it was going, so and so and so. And I said, that's very weird. One, that major financial institutions would first like Bitcoin when Bitcoin was meant to kind of get away from them. Two, that they were so in love with Bitcoin and were buying up massive amounts of Bitcoin as the prices were going down. And I said there's something really odd was happening as far as governments kind of coming forward, not supporting it, but announcing that they were going to be giving different types of regulations. And a lot of the stuff that we had whispered from the very beginning was from the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, who kept on saying that they were going to release cryptocurrency rules. We had information from the G20 as well, like the huge consortium conglomerate of the mega countries in the world who kind of control everything. And I said, why would any of them really care about a air quotes, a dying industry. Whenever you listen to Warren Buffett or anybody else from the traditional financial world, Jamie Dimon as well, Rubini, they kept on mentioning that crypto was a dying industry. And I said, that's really weird. Why are they focusing so heavily on a dying industry? Why are they so adamant that this industry is going to die? Yet at the exact same time, we found out that people from JP Morgan Chase were actually buying cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. The entire point that I'm trying to make is for this entire thing, I noted in 2018 that when Coinbase first announced that they were trying to be legally able to hold securities onto their platform, inside of that article that we were reading also mentioned that Coinbase was trying to get a banking license. And I said, that's kind of weird. Why would they be applying for a banking license? I think the people from Gemini also did it, but maybe not to the same exact extent, because I think Coinbase has a larger presence, if you kind of want to say that. What it seems like that's happening right now is that this is kind of the I can't even think of a proper word for it. This is kind of the end of the line for where we were before. I think, and I'm not joking either. I don't mean this as like a joke or whatever. On the 21st of June, I think that'll be like the crossing of a line, like turning the page to like a completely different chapter. When cryptocurrency exchanges are required then to, by law, be seen as banks, money transmitters, they have to report on you transferring your money back and forth. Remember a couple of months ago when we had that event called Proof of Keys, and people were taking off their cryptocurrency from different platforms and holding them on their computers, putting them onto Nano devices, however you store your cryptocurrency outside of a cryptocurrency exchange. I think that was the precursor for this. I think we're going to see a lot of people within the cryptocurrency space who may not be as, who may not have been here as long and maybe are just maybe here for profits. I don't really know how to explain it otherwise. People who really haven't been in the cryptocurrency space for like more than 6 months or a year, who kind of understand the underlying tone of what cryptocurrencies are for, they're going to get burned by this. And I don't mean this in a negative way. I don't mean that so and so and so. But what's going to end up happening is, I mentioned before, and other people were asking me why I did not like Coinbase. I had Coinbase since around 2013, 2014. Like in the very beginning, they were one of the only places to be able to buy cryptocurrencies. And I remember multiple times they had these like these KYC AML type things going on. You have to give your name, your information, who you are, where you live, blah 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 blah, to be able to actually deal with your own money. And I was like, okay, that's cool, that's fine. I'm used to doing this with banks. And then I sat there thinking and reading and listening to other things from other prominent cryptocurrency members, and they all mentioned that a moment like this on June 21st is going to happen, and that we would have, you know, a reckoning would be coming. The entire problem that I had with Coinbase was that multiple times after, I think I had done the KYC AML 3 separate times over the course of the last 6 years, give or take. And multiple times I had problems taking out my money. It wasn't a lot of money. It wasn't an enormous amount of money. It was just kind of, I had money on the platform that I wanted to take off to put into a Nano on my computer, another, like wherever I decided to safe keep my crypto. And multiple times when I was trying to take it off, I received messages, you can't do this, you have to increase your so-and-so and so, you reached your weekly limit. And sometimes I would sit there and go, I haven't taken any money out. And I checked, there was no one else had access to my account. It was this really weird, you can't do this, you can't have that. And this is a really big issue, and I think a lot of people don't really pay attention to it. I think a lot of people, especially maybe even people, sorry if I'm generalizing, I think a lot of people within the United States and Canada and Europe have become very comfortable to a certain extent with being able to access their money, having their money, going to the bank, so and so and so. And this is normally because on a daily basis, you are probably only taking out maybe $50, maybe 100 euros to pay for a meal, you know, with a couple of friends, whatever the actual case might be. But I'm pretty sure there are other people around the world, because I've definitely been one of them, when you've tried to access your money before and the bank questions why you're trying to take your money out. This happened to me years ago. It wasn't an enormous amount of money. It was, I think it was a relatively, it was a medium range 4-figure amount. And the bank teller held me there for a good 15 minutes and even called her boss over with him asking me why I needed to take out that much money. Banks don't ever want you to actually take out your money. This is why there's such a low number right here. Regardless of where you live around the world, sometimes, you know, if you are in the North American region, European region, $1,000 or 1,000 euros is a lot of money, but it may not be as much as the cost of buying a house or an apartment, so and so and so. And this is why this number is kind of set this way. They're trying to pretty much catch people, because what's going to end up happening is, and you know, just not to say heed my warning, but understand, even if you've only put in $200 into the cryptocurrency system, and the price of the coin that you have put your money in does a 5x in price, you then have met this requirement, and every single time that you try to take your money out, Coinbase, all the way to Fidelity and everywhere in between, is then required to tell your local government that you have crypto, that you have Bitcoin, that you have so and so and so, and that's going to lead to a very brightly dystopian future. I'm expecting a lot of people in the cryptocurrency space to take this to heart, to understand where this is going. When they were talking about last year as far as them needing to implement regulation and putting regulations on the cryptocurrency space, this is it. This is the final, I almost said straw on the coffin. Nail in the coffin for exactly what they're trying to do. I've remained bullish on the cryptocurrency space for a very long time, and more so for June and July. This is the time frame that we were constantly getting over the last couple of months as went to a lot of things we're going to launch. I don't think that it's random at all that the Financial Action Task Force will be releasing these new money laundering rules, laws for 200 countries. 200, that's basically every single country around the entire world, before we're supposed to get information from the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ and Fidelity about them officially launching their platforms. What I think is going to happen is, my opinion, this is probably going to happen on the 21st of June. The other major names are probably going to announce that they're launching their platforms, and that's when all the normal people, everyday people, even institutional investors, flock to their platform, so that when people do start making money as the prices are rising and people try to take their money out, they're going to then have to be told on is not the word that I'm looking for, but you kind of understand exactly where I'm going. The problem that this is going to create is that, much like the current banking system that we have right now, people will not have access or control over their own money or cryptocurrencies, and that's going to cause a very, 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 very huge problem. The reason that we have Bitcoin is because of the other stuff that happened during the 2008-2009 crisis, and I mention it once again because it's incredibly important. There were people around the world who were trying to take their money out of banks, you know, the physical banks. They walked up to them, and there were armed guards standing outside telling them, no, you cannot have your money. That is a very big problem, and especially as we move into a more digital future, and our money is no longer physical, so we can't simply go to an ATM. We can't simply, you know, if you're close enough, cross over into another country or into another state, city, province, and use their ATMs to be able to take out more of your money. You can't touch digital money, and this is what I think that they're betting on. This is why I think that we're seeing a huge increase in the number of countries who are very excited and very happy about a digital world, because they're going to be able to make sure that they control everything. And this is why I always say to please do your own research, because this is going to become very important very, very fast. There is nothing illegal about you holding your cryptocurrency on your computer or on a Nano ledger. There's nothing illegal about it. Figure out if this is the right route for you, because part of the problem that's going to come up with a lot of people is that we're going to have very heavy money restrictions on a lot of things in the cryptocurrency space. I'm completely for trying to stop fraud. I don't believe that on a daily basis that people should be able to put sell orders on cryptocurrency exchanges for $50 million, $100 million, and not actually execute these things, and that causes the cryptocurrency prices to fall down. I'm not for fraud, but I am for people being able to at least control their own money. This is going to be very big. I don't know if it's going to shock the market as I'm expecting it to, but I think something is definitely going to happen around that time frame. Even if nothing more than the other organizations and or companies announcing that they're going to be launching after this ends up happening. I think there's a reason why they have thus far, especially the New York Stock Exchange, because the New York Stock Exchange was giving us information and news at least once a week. They mentioned before that they were going to try and launch by, I think it was the end of June. 21st is near the end of June, so I would not be surprised if they did it a day after or sometime around that same exact time frame. This is going to be major because it apparently is going to encompass everyone. Crypto exchanges, custodians, crypto hedge funds, Fidelity, Coinbase, and also pretty much anyone initiating a transaction over $1,000 or 1,000 euros. I think this is going to cause, remember I was saying before, like this is why I use the word dystopian, like a bright dystopian future for those who kind of know how to navigate the space. Don't do anything illegal. Just do everything within the legal allotment. And this is why I think that decentralized exchanges are going to become very, very, very popular very, very soon. And maybe the people from Binance even had wind of this happening. They may have even understood or maybe gotten some type of information that the FATF was going to, on the 21st of June, going to launch whatever they're trying to launch, because people are, I don't know how to make this any nicer, people are going to move over to decentralized exchanges. And the thing that I think I'm waiting most for are atomic swaps. It's taking a bit longer than it was promised. We had a lot of talk about this in 2017, where people were saying that in 2018, atomic swaps would be relatively normal, be finalized by 2019, 2020. Everyone would be doing it on a daily basis. This will stop the need for the actual use of cryptocurrency exchanges, because simply within our phones, within our apps that run as full nodes, that run as so and so that are decentralized, we'll be able to swap between cryptocurrencies at will, back and forth, however that we actually want them. Very interesting times ahead. Like I always say, if nothing else, the cryptocurrency community and the cryptosphere is nothing but exciting. Every single day, there's always something. Here's the actual article by Bloomberg. I think this is it. I think this is the time. We had a lot of analysts as well talking about that they expected cryptocurrency prices to blossom towards the end of June or sometime in July. And I think this is just coordinating everything that we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for about 2 years now. I know time flies very, very fast. In the middle of 2017, we had laws, or rather people were talking about that they were going to implement laws on cryptocurrencies. It's been a good full circle 2 years. These regulations are here. They're going to be here in a couple of days. They're going to be mandatory for the other things that we've been talking about. And without further ado, let's move on. And that's not even the end of the topic. There's actually more happening around the world, but let's move on. Next up, Binance is rolling out a final test for margin trading, limiting the service to another 1,000 traders. The leading exchange, which has carved out a larger percentage of market influence over the past months, intends on offering margin trading very soon. Margin trading uses leverage to take up positions, leading to higher potential gains, but also increased risk. Binance has stated that only sufficiently liquid markets would see margin trading added. Illiquid coins are at extreme risk for deep losses. At a recent case of the Clams token, a project that caused $13 million in margin call losses on Poloniex. Following the news of the potential for margin trading getting closer, Binance Coin, we spoke about this yesterday as well, Binance Coin is continuously popping up in price every single day. Margin trading has been unrolled in stages and has a small invite-only market for a handful of coins. The market includes Bitcoin, Binance Coin, Tron, Ether, and XRP. Margin trading has been very limited, but by invitation only, and has excluded some regions based on Binance's policy. There is no set deadline for allowing margin trading for all users and for additional assets. Where's the actual information for? I guess it doesn't have it over here. I think margin trading, maybe I'm mistaking. I think there was some type of restriction for people within the United States, but I may be mistaken. I think I read something like that before. Anyway, it doesn't say it in this article. A lot of people are very happy about this. This is why a lot of people believe that the market is also moving up, because Binance, as the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world next to Coinbase, is allowing margin trading, and a lot of profits can be made. And a lot of people tend to do larger amounts of monies in bets on things when they're doing margin trading. So this is also going to be very fascinating very, very soon. I would once again expect, if they're doing testing and or final testing, this will probably also be released within the next 2.5 weeks, which is also the end of June. Next up, messaging app giant Telegram's Gram token, previously sold only to accredited investors, that's another way of saying rich people, and one of the biggest ICOs ever, is at last going to be offered to the public. As reported by TechCrunch, a limited sale of the Gram token will take place on the Liquid exchange from the 10th of July. The offering reportedly comes before a full public sale planned for October. The cost of the token and the targeted total for the raise are not being disclosed as of yet. The sale is being made via Gram Asia, which TechCrunch says is a Korean entity claiming to be the largest holder of the Gram token. Grams has previously been sold only to accredited investors in Telegram's massive two-phase ICO in February and March of 2018. The sale brought in around 1.7 billion US dollars. I think we had information that there were only, 3 entities who were buying the coin, with Gram Asia, I think, holding a huge portion of them. The funds were to be used to develop the Telegram Open Network, or TON, an ambitious blockchain meant to decentralize multiple facets of digital communication, ranging from file sharing to browsing to transactions. According to the Gram sale page on Liquid's website, TON brings speed and scalability to a multi-blockchain architecture that addresses the need for minimal transaction times and airtight security. Here we go. It also states that the sale is open to investors globally, but excludes some nations, including the US, of course, and its territories, and Japan, most likely due to the fear that the token could be considered a security in those jurisdictions. It's really interesting how left out the US is on everything when it comes to cryptocurrency. Like, it's really almost miraculous isn't the word I'm looking, like marvelous also isn't it? It starts with an M. Maniac? No, that's not the word I'm looking for either. It's very weird to see from the outside looking in how you would expect that the US would be this major player in the global cryptocurrency space, and they're like being held back just because of the SEC and the CFTC. Anyway, I've been reading a lot of articles, and a lot of people are thinking there's 3 things coming up besides Fidelity, New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, that are going to be happening that people think is going to be a huge push forwards for cryptocurrency. It's Telegram's token, it's Kik's token, should they win the case with the SEC, and it's the Facebook coin. These are major players in the messaging app game. People know them, people use them, really big, so-and-so, yada, yada, yada. But people think that this may be one of the main catalysts for cryptocurrency adoption. A lot of people were very bearish on the idea of having Telegram launching a token, Facebook launching a token. But a lot of analysts are thinking that these things may actually be the catalyst for pushing Bitcoin anywhere between $10,000 to $50,000 by the end of this year, because it'll cause a huge amount of increase of interest within the cryptocurrency space for people to be able to say, oh, I know what a cryptocurrency is, I definitely use them. Because I've seen myself, and I mentioned this before, and especially in 2018, I don't think I've mentioned it in 2019. I've gotten friends into cryptocurrencies because I was showing them, the ins and outs, how it works, what this is, how this, so and so and so, and they've bought fragments of cryptocurrencies. But what I've noticed is that there's something called crypto vanity. I don't know if people understand what that is. It's pretty much like nobody wants to, not saying that you should not, but not many people want to own just 0.0008 of a Bitcoin. People tend to want to own 0.25, 0.50, or even an entire Bitcoin. And I've noticed this with friends as well. Hello, if you're listening. I think I have a friend who's always listening. Hello to you. This is what's expected to happen as well. As we get more people who flow into the cryptocurrency space, more people will start buying fragments of coins, and this will cause a rush for other people to kind of get more cryptocurrency as well. Still no pricing on the Telegram token. I myself will not be taking part in the ICO, and I will not probably be holding any of their token. Just a personal preference. I can see this becoming quite large in the future. It just will not be part of my portfolio. I mentioned before which coins I have or hold or buy into. It's kind of the top coins. I try to just stick with the major coins in the cryptocurrency space. There are far too many other coins. I'm sure a lot of you have also noticed as well. There were a lot of coins in 2018 that people kept on hyping up. People were telling me to buy into. They told me that I was doing a disservice to my listeners by not telling them to look into these coins, and I looked into them. To be fair, I did. I was like, okay, let's see exactly what this coin does, so and so and so. But I waited to see if something would come of the coins, and nothing ever did. So there are a lot of coins that are constantly hyped up. Will probably not go anywhere. Not to say that this will not go anywhere. I think that between Telegram, Kik, and the Facebook coin, I think they're going to be very, very large. It just so happens they're, like I said, they're not going to be part of my portfolio. Anyway, apparently this is going to be a public sale very soon. And let us move on. Next up, the tokenization of Bitfenix through the sale of Leo tokens was an opportunity for investors to draw maximum benefits from a liquid exchange. At the time of writing, Leo is up 32% week to date, despite time calls for desperate measures. Oh my gosh. It says desperate times calls for desperate measures, but for some reason I can't read and I wrote despite times. Desperate times call for desperate measures. That's the adage that Bitfenix owners, Infinex Limited, heeded, quite literally. Faced with the insurmountable pressure upon the damaging revelation that the exchange used part of Tether's limited funds to fix a deluge. The management settled for an IEO, or initial exchange offering. The objective was quite clear and brazen. Crowdfund $1 billion US in USDT from private investors. This meant tokenizing the exchange through the Eunice said Leo tokens. Hardly surprising, Justin's son was said to be among one of those who had made applications for consideration. However, reports had it that he pulled out. It was apparent that opportunity-seeking billionaires couldn't leave this lying. One of the many investors who kept deciding to keep it low-key, who wrote this article? The outspoken China's BTC billionaire Zhang Dong notified the community of Bitfenix's plans. I don't know who, whoever wrote this. The point is, the Leo token. So first of all, Bitfenix is a company that created the Tether stablecoin. A couple of months ago, we found out that Bitfenix apparently owed their investors $800 million. And a couple of days after, they announced that they were going to be launching their own cryptocurrency token through an initial exchange offering called Leo. Leo has officially launched, and we were talking about this just yesterday. The Leo token was up by 1% and wasn't really moving, but apparently it surged in price. I have my own ideas as to why. However, the money that they made from that was also enough for them to be able to pay back their creditors, debtors, people who they owed money to. And I think that the Leo token is trying to become the new Binance coin. Bitfenix is not as large, and I do not believe will ever become as large as Binance, not anytime in 2019 at least. However, yeah, there's a lot of fear of missing out as it was. Do not fall into the hype. Look into what Bitfenix is, what they've done, what Tether is. You can find articles all the way back to 2016, especially if you type in 2017. You'll get a very big idea of exactly what was going on. This is another token I will never, ever have in my portfolio. I didn't even use Bitfenix. There are a lot of cryptocurrency exchanges. I think 2018 was a great time for crypto, even for cryptocurrency exchanges, as far as when a lot of people left the market. I think a lot of the old news from certain crypto exchanges, there's another exchange there, and I can't say the first or the last letter because you'll get it almost immediately. It's not Coinbase, it's not Binance, it's not Kraken, who also had a very tumultuous 2017 and didn't do pretty well during 2018 either, but they're making a strong comeback because I think a lot of people who are new to the cryptocurrency space, like I said, didn't see those newses is not a word, did not see the news that happened before. Anyway, don't buy into things simply because it's surging in price. That's how people end up losing money when they fall asleep. However, it appears that the Leo token is at least up in price right now. What I think might be this one, once again, this ties directly into the first article that we were just reading. We're in a very interesting time in the world right now. And with people calling for a stock market crash, people calling for a $100,000 Bitcoin, government seemingly losing their mind, not really understanding economic policies, trying to put restrictions and stuff like that on top of cryptocurrencies when they don't really understand exactly what cryptocurrencies are. It's all a very fascinating time. I mean, I feel like we are lucky in some way or another to be alive and to experience all this stuff that's going on. But my goodness, if it isn't weird. Without further ado, it says the Deputy Prime Minister of Italy has proposed a new tax on cash and other valuables held by citizens at banks. If actually imposed, the measure could drive people towards Bitcoin as a way to keep their savings safe from cash-strapped government ministers. For those who are unaware, please become aware. Type in global national debt on your phone, on your tablet, wherever you might get your search engine from. The global debt right now is in the trillions of dollars, and it's adding money every single day. None of this debt is going to be paid off, and there are a lot of countries who are very, very desperate for money right now, and they're trying to figure out a lot of ways to be able to get money from their citizens in any single way possible. The proposal comes as rising global tensions, geopolitical tensions, are impacting other investment markets, making value held in cash and other valuables a more attractive option for many. According to a report published earlier by Reuters, Italy's government may consider taxing its citizens' private savings held in safety deposit boxes at banks. The report states that the nation's deputy prime minister, Matteo Salvini, made the proposal on late-night TV program yesterday. It was picked up by the domestic press this morning. Salvini reportedly stated that he had been informed that there were hundreds of billions of euros stored as cash and other assets in safety deposit boxes around the country. He described the savings of his citizens as being substantially hidden money, implying that the government has some ordained right to know what the Italian people as individuals have managed to save. He went on to state that citizens that were open about their holdings, listen to this, he went on to state that citizens that were open about their holdings would be taxed at a lower rate than those who were less forthcoming with information about their savings. If the Italian government does implement such a measure, the citizens may very well turn to other means of storing value to protect their savings. One Bitcoin advocate mused that such a policy could be favorable to the crypto asset via Twitter. He pretty much said Italy could end up being the best thing to ever happen to Bitcoin. We are at a turning point in our world right now. That's not to scare you. I know a lot of people get scared when I say some things like that. It's not meant to scare you. I do promise you. What we have in front of us is a situation where governments are desperate. They're trying to figure out ways to be able to gather more money, to get more money, to have more money. And at the same exact time, they're also issuing more debt and gathering more debt that will never, ever, 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 ever be paid back. There were about 4 or 5 weeks ago. What was the other thing that we were just reading? Oh my goodness. It was something similar along the lines of this. It was another government. Oh, it was them trying to, was it the US government? It was another government who was trying to, who stated, no, it was the International Monetary Fund. They stated that they're trying, they were thinking about imposing a policy on different banks that should there be an economic crisis, that banks would be able to, I think, have negative interest rates to be able to slow down the bleed and also to be able to take money from certain people's accounts in order to be able to pay back money that was then owed from their debts. Insane. So the fact that the prime minister of Italy came forward and announced this, that means that when you announce things like this, like he didn't sit in a room for 5 minutes and go, yeah, that sounds good, let's go do that. People were probably talking to him about this for months, if not a year and some change, that he had to go on TV and announce that this was going to happen, or that they were even thinking of this, that this was going to happen. Do you understand why people have safety deposit boxes? I understand that there are some people who don't like that people have hidden assets, that people buy art, that people buy property that they don't use, whatever your little thing might be. What it comes down to is, if you bought it, you own it, it's yours, and no one should be able to take it. This is kind of how things go. You can't walk into the parliament in Italy and simply take things that they have lying around or pick up their statues and walk out with it, because it's not yours. It's theirs. It belongs to the building. It belongs to the so-and-so and so. To be able to think, and this is happening all around the world, and this is what's publicized. I can only imagine other stuff that's happening behind the scenes that people are talking about or thinking of implementing that would completely blow my mind. The fact that the prime minister of Italy went on TV and announced that people who have assets in their safety deposit boxes, it could be anywhere from diamonds to cash to cryptocurrencies to money that was left to someone by their dead grandmother and they still have inside of a box, that they have to then come forward and announce what they have inside of this so that they're taxed on it, is absolutely ridiculous. I have never, when you want to talk about people moving towards cryptocurrencies, this is it. I know a lot of people don't care for this. At this point, it kind of is what it is. And I mean, yeah, you know, when we were talking about the Bitcoin time traveler, I know there's one person who at least clicked on the X and they were like, nope. When we talk about that and you read the stuff that he was talking about, I know that people talk about he's insane, he's some other guy, whatever, so on, so blah, 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 blah. Take the story for what it is. And even more so, just the other, I mean, it's so fascinating, the stuff that we see that's happening before us, like 10, 15 years ago. No one really saw any of this kind of coming to fruition, and the fact that it's happening so rapidly when we have cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin in play is very, very, very interesting. One of the things that was noted by the time traveler, I know it's insane, who cares, but also by Andreas Antonopoulos and many other people, they said and have stated many times before that all of this stuff would happen, that what we would end up seeing in our world is a world where governments were so desperate to be able to pay off their debts that they would start doing things like this, and it became a catalyst for people around the world to actually put their money into cryptocurrencies as a way for governments not to be able to find them. If you read the thing that the Bitcoin time traveler was saying, he said that in his time, once again, no, it's ridiculous, don't really care. He said that the world that he lived in was a very different world because governments had no idea where people were actually storing their funds or hiding their funds or where it was, because it was all in crypto. There was no longer a situation where somebody was getting onto a plane with tons of gold, tons of money, inside of suitcases, sitting inside of a meeting with someone, and they had a drone sitting outside watching them, you know, tracking their every movement. It was simply on their phone, on their whatever. And this is how people were able to, this is one of the ways that Bitcoin was able to kind of take over the entire world. This is not the first time that we've seen news like this. It's actually completely insane. Here's the actual article right here from Reuters. It says, Italy proposes tax on savings hidden in safety deposit boxes. I have never. That's, you know how close that is to someone saying they want to propose a tax on stuff that you have under your bed, that you have in your closet. You have a pair of sneakers that's worth a lot. Well, why is that hidden? I think we're going to try and tax that. You have money that you received from your mother a couple of weeks ago. Why didn't you declare that? Like, it's such a finite line. From a safety deposit box is meant to be something private that you have on your own. You get the key to, you go there by yourself. It's your safety deposit box. It's away from prying eyes. It's really insane. Like the stuff that's happening around the world. For those who don't know, or for those who were not here, this is when I just started getting into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. I remember hearing about it before, and I remember I wasn't really into Bitcoin until around this time, because it kind of piqued my interest, and I was like, that's fairly interesting. For those who are not looking at the screen, this is an article from March 28th, 2013. That was 6 years ago. It says Bitcoin prices surge post Cyprus bailout. Where is the actual information? These are unusual times. Depositors in Cyprus, the nation of Cyprus, are struggling to gain access to cash stored in the nation's banks, and some face losses on their deposits. The situation has caused investors all over Europe to question the safety of the banking system. If I am not mistaken, what ended up happening was in Cyprus is that there was some type of a situation where the banks collapsed, they needed tons of money, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And I think the banks in Cyprus were actually taking the money of their customers out of their accounts to be able to pay off their debts. Same exact situation that we had in 2008, 2009 within the States, where people were going to their banks. Google it. You can find it, where there were armed guards standing outside of banks telling people, no, you cannot take out your money. The fact that anyone still trusts that old system, you may have to, you know, you may have your money in there when you get your check deposited from your job. Going there, get it, got it good. I'm not telling you to go full crypto right now, but you have to understand where this is all going. If we get to a situation where people around the world, people are already told what they can and can't do with their money, how much money they can withdraw, how much their daily withdrawal limit is. People are even told how much they can deposit on a daily basis. Like, think of how insane that is, that we live in a world where we allow a strong handful of people. It's not an armful of people. It's about a handful of people around the world who declare what 8 billion people must do with their own money. It's insane. Like I said, if you're going to do anything, Make sure that you're doing it within the legal channels. I'm not telling anyone to go out and be a renegade and do something crazy. Do what you have to do to be legal, but understand that these are the reasons why Bitcoin is going to take over the entire world. It's no longer, it's not a game anymore. It's not anything that I was, I mean, even before I wasn't really joking about it, but you have to understand that the world is in turmoil. I myself try to stay away from, I hate the term mainstream media, but a lot of it is just to neither here nor there. And I kind of don't really listen to it anymore because it's just terrible. It's just traumatic and terrible. Every single day, it's just getting worse. The world's dying. The economy's dying. There's always something worse and worse and worse. And whatever. I'm not going to even get into that entire thing. The fact that this has been proposed here by the International Monetary Fund, that we see India and a bunch of other countries and Venezuela and so on and so forth talking about that cryptocurrencies may be illegal, that people may receive 10-year jail sentences. These are, I have never been more bullish on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space in my entire life. When you tell people that they can't do something, they are going to do it. When you know how desperate people get when they need to feed their kids, when they need to feed their families, when they need to feed themselves, when a bank or government or anybody tells you you cannot have access to your money, the money that you have stored up and saved, because we've gotten ourselves into debt, we are going to tax you even further and take what you've gotten. You know how ridiculous it is? Can you imagine? Stay with me for a moment. Imagine a situation 10 years ago. One of your loved ones passed away. They had money in a safety deposit box and it got passed on to you. And it was gold, it was silver, it was diamonds, worth, let's say, anywhere from $500,000 to 500,000 euros. You've never touched it, you've never seen it, you never so-and-so, you know that it's there, you don't use it, whatever the actual case might be. You yourself work a part-time job, you don't have a lot of money, like things are okay for you, but they could be a little bit better. Can you imagine your government coming to you, opening up your safety deposit box that was given to you by a family member, finding out how much money that you have, and then they try to tax you around 33% on the money that you have inside there, and they tell you either you give us a portion of what's inside of this thing that your family member gave us, or you go to the bank and you give us money. You understand how absurd all of this is becoming? I'm expecting, as the year goes on, that we're going to receive more news like this. Between governments doing this, and this is, like I said, this isn't the first time this year that we've heard ridiculous proposals like this, and between all of the regulations that are coming out, I'm destructively bullish on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies because, like I mentioned before many other times, the only thing at this moment that they are able to control or have control over are centralized cryptocurrency exchanges and ICOs and IEOs and STOs. They cannot and will not have control over your cryptocurrency that you have on a Nano, that you have on your computer. And as we move further into a more robust cryptocurrency system, what's going to end up happening is that these are going to be catalysts for dramatic price movements upward. When we get to a $100,000 Bitcoin and people are buying up as many fragments of Bitcoin as possible around the world, oh my gosh, like my brain is, if you could see the inside of my brain, it's exploding in all directions. We're going to, especially as people start implementing more private transactions on all of these blockchains, they're already at least 5 proposals to have private transactions on top of Bitcoin. I assume it's not only being worked on, but we're probably going to have them within the next 2 years implemented in some sort of way, even if it's just through smart contracts or other things happening on side chains or other layers. When Bitcoin hits $100,000 and we have private transactions on Bitcoin inside of countries who are telling people we are going to take what you have, we are going to tax the extra things that you have, or you cannot hold cryptocurrencies, as their fiat currencies are crumbling in price due to hyperinflation, this is when, that's the end game. This is why I get so excited, because I can see it before me. I see that it's going to happen, and I know that we are so close that I can almost taste it. This is why I get so energetic and so excited. It's like waiting for something for a very long time. I've been into crypto for at least 3, 4, 5, 4.5, 5 years, somewhere around that time frame. All these things that I learned, all these things that I heard, all these discussions and all these group chats and all these so, everything that they mentioned is coming true. And the last step is Bitcoin hitting $100,000, having private transactions, and pretty much just taking over the world. You cannot tell people, regardless of where they are, that they cannot have control over what they own, that it is not theirs, even though they've bought it, even though they've purchased it, that it somehow, regardless of you paying for it and you having ownership and control over it, that you as a government, you as anybody else, you as a so-and-so can come in and take what they have or track and figure out what they have and where it's going. It's impossible. This is the world that we're going to enter, and this is why I've mentioned before, this is not financial advice. I know that everyone cannot do this, but I think it would be a mistake to not hold any Bitcoin. At least if you can hold 1/100th of a Bitcoin, that is 0.01. And I mentioned before as well, if you can, I understand that we all have friends out there who may be skeptical, don't really understand, so and so. There are a lot of people calling for a $1 million Bitcoin to a $10 million Bitcoin over the next 5 to 10 years. If you're a good friend, or if you like some of the people you hang out with, try to even buy fractions of cryptocurrencies for them as a gift. Just saying, because a lot of people, what's going to end up happening is that they're going to realize that you're right in the future. And the way that my heart works, I try to make sure that I have enough for everyone. That's kind of just how I am. We are entering a very, not even entering, we're here. This is it. This is not even entering. This is the moment that we've been waiting for. This is the rules and regulations that we were talking about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that were going to be implemented on the fuller cryptocurrency space. It's rather spectacular that this is happening. Yeah, I have no more to kind of say about that, except for I was gonna say no. I'm gonna not be cheesy. Anyway, crazy times ahead. Like really though, as always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. I wonder what my neighbors think about me. My arms are like flailing as I'm like, if you could all see me, my arms are actually like flailing up and down. I'm like banging on the table and I'm doing all this other crazy stuff. My neighbors must think I'm doing voodoo or something. Anyway, as always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. They are Auspicious, Agile, and Blockchain, Professor Wally from Gunbot University, S.C. Verzley Fine Art, Crypto and Beer Shipmate, Brady Niels, L. Doug, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, Shaolin Fried Rice, Gil Boa Snake, Crypto Joe, Mohair Maroney, Carl Birchenoff, singer-songwriter Mike Savitz, Rai, Yasha Harari, Amy Starsheen, Jeffrey Ramsey, Crip Nautic, Claret T. Snowden, Crypto Artist Cold E3D, Nicholas, One Earth, One Peace, One Love, Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Rich the Third, RF Dusty, Cody, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Tom and Sam are losers, Jeremy the Photographer, Jim Gardner, Minting Coins, Arthur Yaku, Nick Mangelavori, Anthony Charles, and Mechanic. Thank you all very, very much for your support. We are in interesting times, my friends. At the moment, the market is doing relatively okay. Everything is green except for Litecoin. It may have just kind of overreached. It was at, I think, $138, I think the maximum that it hit last night, somewhere around there. People were calling for a $200 Litecoin. I think we may be a little bit off. I'm seeing a lot of articles now talking about if Litecoin surges enough, it could pass by XRP. I mean, anything's possible at this point. I see no reason why Litecoin couldn't surge past XRP. XRP has been having very good news, but not any insanely dramatic news as of right now. The volume of Litecoin is at 5 billion. For XRP, it's at 1 billion. I would not be surprised if, as we get closer to the end of summer and the reward actually gets cut in half, if Litecoin doesn't have any, if XRP doesn't have any significant news, that Litecoin would not zoom past it. Where were the other ones that we were talking about? Binance coin is also up. I think no other coin is really, yeah, here we go. The Leo token shot up. It's already fallen back down. I think there was news that it had passed by IOTA, but that's only because of Almost said hype and dipe. Pump and dump. What's hype and dipe? Dash is also up. Neo is oddly also up. I don't remember any significant news except for them doing their relaunch of the blockchain. I guess a lot of other random coins are also shooting up. Who knows exactly why? I hope you all enjoyed. I mean, Bitcoin Diamond is also up, so it could just be an anomaly. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and listening. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.